Welcome to Colorado LTAP Tuesday Tailgate Talk. Today we are going to be talking about fall protection. While many of us don't work on roof or skyscrapers, this is still an important subject to discuss. When 90% of our time is having our 2 feet on the ground, we still get into areas where we are up on something to do our jobs and we risk falls. The most current data is showing falls from slips, trips, and falls, along with falls from lower levels and falls from same levels. Here are the fatal 4 that you may be involved with. Falls struck by an object, electrocution, and caught in or between an object. We as maintenance, as always, at risk for falls, being struck by an object, and being caught in between objects. And if you deal with electricity, you face the risk of electrocution. Injury during a fall causes financial burden to the agency, your team, and most important, to you. So let's see how we can set our workdays up correctly to hopefully avoid any falls. OSHA requires the use of fall protection when construction workers are working at heights of 6 feet or greater above a lower level. While most of us won't be working 6 feet in the air, it is still something to keep in the back of your mind. It also means that if you have a trench or a hole, there is protective equipment to protect you from falling in. This could be guardrail systems, nets, or personal fall arrest systems like body harnesses and being tied off to something secure. Here are some examples of fall protection: guardrails and various personal fall arrest systems. Let's look into some of these. A personal fall arrest system is a system used to safely stop or arrest a work order who is falling from a working level. It consists of an anchorage, connectors, and a body harness. It also may include a lanyard, deceleration device, lifeline, or suitable combinations of these. When I was at CDOT, we had to wear the personal fall arrest systems while in the manwell or even on the back of the traffic truck. While the truck was moving, if we had to be tied off. All it takes is a bump, and you can lose your footing and fall. The 3 points of contact rule is simple. When climbing or descending ladders, trucks, and equipment, always maintain contact with 1 hand and 2 feet, or 2 hands and 1 foot. If you maintain 3 points of contact while you climb or descend, you can limit your exposure to falls. When dealing with ladders, we need to ask ourselves some questions, such as, do I have the correct ladder? When placing the ladder, will it be stable? How long will I be on the ladder? Will I have to carry something heavy up the ladder? All of these questions are important. When using a ladder, ensure that it is on stable ground or have a base to mount the ladder in. Make sure you are wearing solid shoes and nothing like flip-flops. Ensure the ladder is fully extended. If your ladder is extremely tall, ensure that passerbys can't walk under. Possibly surround the ladder with some cones. Don't ever work from the very top of a ladder. And when carrying tools, do not carry them in your hands. Don't lean away from the ladder to do the job. Reposition it so you are closer and can lean into the ladder. Always check your ladder for damage before using, and if damaged, don't continue to use the ladder. So how does equipment relate to falls? Let's get into it. When dealing with equipment, we need to be observant of our location. Can we be struck by the equipment which will cause you to fall? Is it something in the bucket that can drop onto our heads, which could cause you to stumble and fall? If you're working on the top side of the equipment, could you fall off? To protect yourself, ensure that if the bucket is in the air, to not walk under the bucket. Always maintain a clear zone around all equipment when working. If you're working on top of the machine, make sure your footing is stable and secure. Make slow, calculated movements, and if need be, tie yourself off so if you fall, you don't drop to the floor. Now we move to being struck by overhead items. Most people think about equipment and material being overhead, but there are other ways you can be struck by overhead items. One way is your team is out doing their normal maintenance activities, such as replacing signs. You may not be on the ladder or bucket truck doing the work, but being on the ground is just as dangerous. Pay attention to wind and surrounding traffic, including pedestrians. The person replacing the sign could lose control of the sign, tools, or even materials and drop it on your head or even a passerby's head. What if you're trimming trees? You could have everything under control and the tree breaks a different way or takes more than what you were expecting. Make sure you are wearing a hard hat and stand back from the work area. Give the worker the buffer space to ensure there is nothing dropped. And what about being struck by objects? We make the best plans to be safe, and the next thing we know, we're sitting down wondering what hit us. One thing to remember when moving things around, and there's possible swing, it's best to stay clear. We deal with a lot of material that can roll, such as signposts, guardrails, and possible loose material, such as cold mix, sand, or even chips, for chip seals. Unloading and storing are usually the times when you could be struck by items causing you to fall. Ensuring that things like signposts are secured in place with a wedge or they have a box-like structure to go into. That guardrails are stacked stably. Also, things like cold mix, salt sand, or chips are in a location that is secured around it. And please, don't stack too high. If you are unloading any items, be careful when loosening straps or chains. During the hauling, these materials move and might be unstable when straps are released. Even with equipment, these straps or chains can pop loose and hit you. So in review, we can do a lot to ensure that we stay safe in the workplace and are not involved in falls. Make sure you use a good ladder and ensure that it is the right one for the job. When working around equipment, make sure you're not in the clear zone to avoid any type of falls. To prevent being struck by objects, ensure that they are stored correctly and that you give a wide berth when moving materials to prevent any falls. If we can avoid a fall, we can avoid time off from work or even a long-term disability. Thanks for attending the Colorado LTAP Tailgate Talk. Until next time, bye!